Welcome back. Our third video going over ISU sales techniques is going to be about objection handling. So, handling objections are something that you're always going to experience as a salesperson, and there's always going to be an importance to welcome objections. Although this is resistance that you may receive during your sales call, it actually will be able to help you answer your prospects' questions and concerns. A lot of times when you do receive an objection, it's a question and engagement of the customer that they're very intrigued of what you have to say. They would just like some clarification. So, handling objections truthfully and respectfully will allow you to provide that ethical service to build that true relationship. Not every sales call is going to be smooth sailing. There's always going to be a little push and shove there because making decisions, think about when you're at the store making a big purchase. There's always going to be a little bit of hesitation because making a big decision is costly, and you always want to make sure that you're making a decision that is valuable to you as a customer. So putting yourself in your customer's shoes, understanding that objections are normal, this will allow you to truthfully and ethically handle your customers' objections and really understanding how to build that true relationship, providing that customer those answers that they're looking for. It is also very important to understand when receiving objections that your product or solution might not be for everyone. Sometimes, even when you do answer the objection that a customer has in the best way that you can, sometimes they're still going to say no. And it's always important for you to thank that customer politely and then conclude the meeting. Always answer their objections politely, and even if they are answering it in or responding to you in a not so nice way, always stay respectful, always stay polite, because that is how you want to represent not only yourself as the salesperson, but your company as well. On the flip side, it is always going to benefit the customer politely, professionally, and ethically when you show how the product can be useful for them. No matter what the situation, always try to show the value of the product that you're selling and be polite, professional, and ethical about it. Talking on objections, once again, accepting objections. Objections can be a challenge, absolutely. And you can view them in a positive light. They're to help your customer understand the product better and understand how it could help them in their situation better. So as a salesperson, always welcome your objections. As I touched on before, resistance when making a big purchase, think about when you're a customer. It's natural. It's natural to be a little hesitant when making a big decision. And you always have to realize that people do not want to be taken advantage of. It can be scary when meeting a new salesperson, they're selling you a foreign thing that you don't really know much about. You don't want to be taken advantage of. You don't want to make the wrong decision. So that can be a hesitation of your customer as well. So learning to overcome objections is very important. Understanding the sources of the customer's resistance and how you can assist your customer overcome that concern or that risk that they're feeling is going to allow you the sale. When you overcome objections, showing that value to your customer, it will allow you to progress your chance of making that sale. So, what are objections? They are opposition or resistance to information or the salesperson's request. Objections, once again, are natural. You are asking your buyer to make a change, whether that change be in a product selection they sell, in their actions, in their current beliefs, or in a process that they conduct at their business. And once again, change is very difficult. It's always natural for people to resist change and for a customer to ask questions, express hesitation, or procrastinate in making that decision. So, objections, they can occur at any time during the call. Always welcome them, even if you're thrown off guard. They do indicate that your customer is interested in the product, because if they weren't interested, they wouldn't express their opinion whatsoever. So, objections can also determine where the potential customer is in the buying cycle. It can express attention, their interest, their desire for the product, their conviction, or their readiness to buy the product. So really listening to what the customer is asking and when they ask it is going to help you further understand their comprehension of what the conversation is about. So, a few other objection instances. They can be over concerns. If you fail to uncover all of the customer concerns, if they're still a little bit concerned. Competition. If you as the salesperson, if your competition may be providing a superior service, say selling your Apple Watch, for example. If the customer for some reason sees superior service in a Fitbit, they may express things about the competition, hesitations with going with an Apple Watch versus a Fitbit. Confusion. If the prospect, potential customer, is confused. So during the sales call, the salesperson, you, might have mentioned something that confused them. So they may be objecting because they're a little bit confused. All of these instances, do not panic. They will be able to be overcome as long as you handle them professionally, ethically, and respectfully, respecting where the customer is within the conversation. How to handle objections. I know you have been waiting for me to talk about this. Don't delay in handling most objections. Handle the objections when they come up. Always be positive handling an objection in your verbals and nonverbals. I know that objections can be so defeating. It is so tempted when you do your sales pitch, you feel confident, you're happy that you can help the customer, and they object. It's so easy to slouch a little bit, sigh, be sad, but you're doing the best you can. It's always natural for a little bit of hesitation when making change, right? So try to stay positive, and that also instills confidence in the buyer when you are positive that you do have something that can benefit them. So don't be discouraged. I promise it's going to be okay. Acknowledging the concern. So finding an area that you can empathize with the buyer, putting yourself in the customer's shoes, like we mentioned before. The most important aspect of handling objections is to listen to the customer. Do not interrupt them when they're expressing their objection. Don't immediately respond. Learn about the underlying concern, why they're feeling that way. And asking questions about the objection before responding directly to the objection. If they're concerned about price, for example, don't just handle, well, we can save you money. Ask a little bit more about that. What about the price is concerning you, Mr. Prospect? Providing your answer to the objection. Provide that answer after understanding a little bit more about what they're confused or questioning. And then that trial close we talked about, trying to gauge their comprehension and further along the conversation to that sale. Objection handling process. 4-step process. Step 1, restating your customer's objection. Step 2, probing into customer's objection. So having them explain it to you a little bit more. Step 3, handling your customer's objection using this objection handling technique. And step 4, confirming the objection is no longer a concern, and trial closing. I will walk you through a simple example. The customer is concerned because they feel that you are a little bit young. They say, I don't know if you're very qualified, Susie, because you look very young. I don't know if you're experienced enough to help me. You ask, step 2. Okay, prospect, whatever the prospect's name is, are you concerned that my age correlates with my experience and my ability to help you? They say yes. And you say, can you tell me a little bit more about what specifically is concerning? They explain, well, Susie, I just think that you being young, you look like you just are graduating high school, and I just don't know if you have enough experience under your belt to help companies as important as mine. Step 3, handling your customer's objection using an objection handling technique. Saying, okay, prospect, I understand your question is valid. However, I will say that my customers have experienced great results through my products. Tom Coulahan at Furniture R Us told me that after he employed our chairs into his business, his revenue grew by 15% within 3 months of partnering with us. So I can guarantee you that you will see increased revenue through going through with us. And that my age does not mean that I'm inexperienced to help you. Step 4, confirm the objection is no longer a concern. After finishing that statement, you saying that your age does not mean that you're inexperienced, right after you finish speaking, you ask something along the lines of, does that alleviate that concern? Does that make sense? Are we okay to continue our conversation? And that's your trial close. Of course, we will be going through a mock role play example. So if you would like to have some more examples to go off of with objection handling, there will be some in there. So, and of course, if you are still confused a little bit on objection handling, please feel free to reach out. All right, I will see you in the next clip.